Grand Rising, everyone. I am here just at the co-creation community test site here, and what we're doing right now is that we are powering up the fifth wheel. It's a 50 amp fifth wheel, which I kind of showed everybody the last time we were on here, but I'm just walking around now, just giving you a little bit of a understanding what's going on here. So this is a full-fledged small little house. You can see right there, hopefully you can see that. That's 50 amps, 120, 240 volt. So this is pretty much, it's a pretty big fifth wheel. It's about 35 feet. Has everything on there. So everything that you need in order for it. It has all these slide outs and stuff like that, right? So this one has two slide outs. But what we want to do, I don't want to really do this. We haven't put any of the solar panels on the top. But what we did do is that we did have our solar power system hooked up, and we have it hooked up now. It's been running all night, which is like amazing, and I'm going to show you what the battery power looks like after it's been running all night. But this is the solar system right here, right? That's the solar panels. You can see that hooked up, and as you can see, it's not too it's cloudy. So when the sun comes out, I'm going to show you what it looks like in terms of the power system. So we have settled on a charge controller, which is, a decent charge controller, 80 amp hour solar charge controller. And this is what that one looks like, if you can see that, right? Make sure that you're able to see it. And this is what you know what? See if I can turn this thing around. Now my hand's all muddy. It was raining all night last night. It was crazy. Let's see. I don't think I can turn it around. I'm just going to pick this up. There it is. That's the solar charge controller that we're using right now. This is the 80 amp one. And right now it's picking up 0.14% from the sun. Charge will go to a maximum of 15 volts because the batteries that we are using are lithium titanate batteries, and the lithium titanate batteries can charge up to about 15 volts on the 12 volt system that we have. So the batteries itself is in this compartment here, as you can see. So let me just get in here because they are running and they are hooked up. Sorry for all the stuff going on there. So this is the battery system. There it is. It is hooked up. It's running. Right now it's running off of a 500 amp. Let's see if we can get that in there. 500 amp hour. I don't know what's going on with this camera, man. This camera sucks. But 500 amp hour, 500 watts. Sorry about that. That's 500 watts inverter. Couple of plugs. So we have it plugged that's running on inside, but we actually have it hooked up to the RV itself. We have our breaker systems that are over there, the water pump and stuff like that, right? This is the hydraulic system that's going in there. This is the old lead acid battery. This is what everybody else is using. And when we had that thing hooked up, that thing only lasts for about maybe a half hour with the whole entire camper running, right? Remember that a lot of campers on the 50 volt, which is like 220 volts, is 150 volts. 120 volts split in half goes to 240 volt system, right? 240 volts split in half. When you're running on a battery, a lot of times what happens is that you're only running half the camper on the battery system, right? So half the camper running on the battery system. So even with half the camper running on the battery system, what happens is that you could only use 50% of this lead acid battery, which only lasted for about maybe an hour, 2 hours, right? This here has been going on all night long. I've been running everything on it. This one right here is a 13.8. It's more than a 13.8 actually. It's like 13.8. And this one is 80 amp hours, right? 80 amp hours. So we can do this in configurations of 80 amp hours, 160 and 240. This one is it goes up to, I believe it's this one's 18 volts, right? The way that it's 6 in series, right? We got 8 in series, and then we have 4 in parallel, right? Which gives us the 80 amps, right? So what we will be doing is putting 6 in parallel, 40 amp hours a piece, gives us about 240, and then 6 in series, which will give us 13.8 volts at 2.3 volts a piece. So what happens there is that this now functions as a normal 13, a little bit more powerful than a 12 volt battery, right? A little bit more powerful. So we had to get we had to solve the issue of charging in terms of putting voltage in there, because a lot of these charge controllers don't go up to 12 volts. You can't find one. So what we did, we were able to scour the world pretty much, and we found a beautiful charge controller, which is it's not the most expensive one. It's different. It's decent, I should say. It's decent, and it's working. But right now it is powering up everything. It's been running all night long. Sun is now starting to come out. So I want you to see the difference. Before we were pulling out about 1.2, and with the sun out, we're now pulling, you can see that, 4.3, and sometimes it goes up to almost 10 amps. 10 amps, which is what we expect to get. Right now is up to 7 amps, right? If you can see that. Oh, you can't see it. But right now the sun is starting to really come out. So it's up to 7 amps, and it can go all the way up to 10 amps on this system. And then if we put a something up there to be able to increase the voltage, we'll be able to get that as well, up to 15 amps or whatever. But with these batteries, if they're 10C charging, which means that you can dump almost 80 amp hours in there, and this thing's, I mean, if you dump that much in there, those things will be charged up in about a half hour, that size anyway. At the rate that we're charging them now, with about 10 amps going in there, 20 amps going in there, we can get that thing charged up fairly quickly, which means that that whole entire battery bank from 0 can be charged up in about maybe 3 hours, right? Which is very significant for that. So yeah, we're looking at so this is it. This is the inner part of it. So yeah, so I just wanted to show you guys that the battery system is working. We do have a we were using the gel battery. We did use a gel battery. Gel battery did fairly well. We ran it underneath 50%, though. We ran it down to about 40%, and as we're charging it now, within about an hour, I think we're putting too many amps in there, but we're getting anywhere from 6 to 10 amps going in there right now. It's up to 62%. So this solar suitcase that you see here, right here, is definitely worth the money. You can take portable, put it anywhere you want. This is 200 watts, and we build 400 watt, 600 watt systems, 400 watt systems, and I don't even deal with the 100 watt systems, 250 amps. I don't even deal. The lowest we go at this point right now, because we need to be able to make it work, is 200 watts. 200 watt system. So the 200 watt system is a basic system that'll get you in there, and that will do a whole heck of a lot in terms of charging up your batteries. As long as you have a good setup with your battery system that you're using. Now the battery system that we're using here, again, that we're using, this battery right here can last you several days on energy. When you're putting anywhere from like 10 to 20 amps on the load, and even maybe 30 amps on the load, can last you several days, right? And then when you have it charging up during the daytime, it's almost a continuous power. And as you can see, when it was cloudy out, it was still pulling in 1 to 2 amps. So even when it's cloudy, you're still getting energy pouring into the battery, which will offset the ampage or the voltage use or the wattage use that you're using inside of your home as well. The reason why we're using these big campers is because these campers are like little homes, tiny homes, and from tiny homes, campers to tiny homes to campsites, bringing power anywhere that you have to bring it, because we have a lot of hectic weather all over the place. You never know when your power is going to go out. So this is the Solaris system, battery system. It's actually hooked up. This is the 12 volt battery that they had here. This is a pretty expensive one, but it doesn't really last that long. But this one is our 80 amp version, which comes in 160 to 240 amp hours from 18.5 volts all the way down to 13.8 volts when it's set up to 240. And then we can also get a 24 volt system going on there as well, using the same battery charging system, which will be hooked up, and it will be able to tell you exactly everything that's going on. As you can see right now, it's charging the gel system, the gel battery, if you can see that. It's charging that gel battery there. That gel battery. And it's at 50%, 52% right now. So we're doing pretty good. Right now nothing's coming in because there's no sun is gone, but oh well, one of the leads just fell out. That's what happened. Moving around too much. We'll get that thing settled up and get it working. But I just wanted you guys to see that. See it's working. It is a tremendous system. Now with these batteries, you don't ever have to, once they're installed, once you have them in a battery pack, we're going to be putting them in a specialized battery framework, which I'm going to show you right now. Do I have it here? Oh, I don't have it. Oh, do I have it? Don't have it in here right now. I thought I did. But we're going to be putting them, they're going to be coming in a nice pack so that they can be protected from the elements, shorting out and all that other type stuff. But you never have to worry about thermal runaway with these types of batteries. So we're in good shape. Solaris Energy is in good shape. Energy company that is for you and for your co-creation communities, for your small homes, RVs, campsites, and even your major homes. So when you can have power in an emergency, take it anywhere that you want. These things are the greatest things to have. If you don't have one, you're really living on the cusp, because things can happen at any particular point. So for Solaris Energy, this is Ronnie McLean and New Thunder. I do appreciate all of you. Right? You take care. I'll talk to you guys soon. Love and peace. Yeah, I like that too.